very expensive one as well. We'll be reviewing it extensively on the show. Also, the Metaverse. So much spoken about the Metaverse of late, but is it a fad or is it truly the future? That's also on Tech Today. And of course, all the latest developments and all the news from the world of technology on this action-packed episode of Tech Today. Well, if we're not in the studio and we're in India, not traveling out of the country, and we're outdoors, what does that mean? That means we have a very, very special device on the show that we want to tell you all about. The Apple Watch Ultra. Apple's most adventurous watch yet and most expensive. Nearly the cost of an iPhone 14, even more if you consider the prices in India. Is it a true bang for your buck? Well, let's find out on Tech Today. Basically, anything you do on an Apple Watch, if you're working out, you're doing weight training, which we've done often, you're going out for a jog, it's really helpful. And when you play football as well, and that's something I love doing, it's fairly accurate. The fact that it tracks your calorie burn, it tells you if your heart rate's really exceeding the threshold, the healthy threshold, tells you not to overexert yourself. These are things which become a lot better and a lot more efficient when you're using an Apple Watch. You know what, we also tested the watch in the rugged outdoors, but we also played a lot of football with the watch, and honestly, it's been so accurate. Sometimes it gives me heart rate notifications, and that's good to know. You take these things for granted with Apple Watches, but even whilst we've been playing football, it's given you heart rate notifications when you've really been overexerting yourself. It's also got very nice intervals where it tells you exactly what you were doing at what point. So of course, you can take this hiking, you can take this for your normal workouts. It does everything just like the Apple Watch Series 8. You can check out that review on the Business Today social media handles. But then, if you want to take this underwater, well then we did. The minute you get into the pool, or any water body for that matter, the watch's sensors come on. The depth sensor telling you how many feet or meters you're already in the water, and what's the temperature like. That is fascinating that it's finally there on a wearable, not just your wrist temperature. With this also, well, has some way of determining. You got to wear it for 5 days, and then obviously it gives you a mean temperature with which it shows you deviations, but that's there on the Apple Watch Series 8 as well. When you take this underwater into a pool or into the sea, when you're going diving, those two sensors, along with their new Oceanic app, Apple's claim, and this is something we're going to test very soon, is that this can be a dive computer on your wrist. Remember, a dive computer costs anywhere between $400 to $800. If you can incorporate that cost and you go diving in the Apple Watch Ultra, it can actually be a lifesaver. Talking about being a lifesaver, of course, the standard Apple Watch features, which we take for granted now, but are actually game changers, ECG, heart rate monitoring, all of those things come in with a lot more battery life. Damn, in times of privacy, did I give too much away? What I was trying to show you was the new waypoint feature that I think can be very helpful if you've parked your car somewhere. You can just mark it as a waypoint and then navigate to that waypoint. Use symbols, use colors to flag it off. And then, of course, you can always delete it and check out in which direction you've left your car, your belongings. I think that is a very, very useful feature when it comes to these wearables. And the Apple Watch Ultra has that as well. There are nifty watch faces as well, like this Wayfinder watch face. If you're lost somewhere and you just turn the watch around, the entire dial moves around, which makes it really cool. In terms of design, look, when we were in Europe as well, wherever we went on that Tech Today shoot, this became an instant conversation starter, along with the fact that, well, we do a show called Tech Today, which a lot of y'all seem to love and watch. And if you do love and watch the show, then do write into us in the comment section below or on our social media handles. So all the reviews you must have watched on the Ultra will have you believe that it's very expensive. And yes, it is. At 90,000 rupees, it's the cost of an iPhone 14. But it's meant for a certain audience. The audience which used to flock towards the Garmins of the world when they were adventure junkies, travel enthusiasts, like playing sports. If you want to go diving, this is a dive computer on your wrist. But these are just great things in theory, and to just say to you on camera, what if we put it through its paces? There is a bunch of features which are unique to the Ultra, which aren't even there in previous Apple Watches or in its sibling, the Apple Watch Series 8. For instance, let's start off with the battery life. The biggest complaint, the biggest grouse that all of us have with the Apple Watch is battery life. If you're talking about the Apple Watch Ultra, well, it's not like other Apple Watches where you have to charge it once in every 14 hours, 16 hours. This one needs to be charged once in 36 hours. So that is a huge bump up from the previous Apple Watch. If you put it on low power mode, you can even get double that sort of juice on the Apple Watch Ultra. So battery life is not as good now as the Garmin's and many Fitbits, but still a lot better in the Apple world. So what do you need all that battery for? Well, it's clear. We need it because we want to go swimming with it, we want to go diving with it, and that's exactly what we did. We took this into the pool. Of course, the Oceanic app is still to come, but the straps we've been using, which are the Alpine Orange strap, and of course, this particular one as well, the Oceanic strap, very, very comfortable to use, but sometimes it takes some getting used to. With this one especially, they have a nice little hook over here, which is actually a safety mechanism if you're going diving. But the way they've built this, and that's what Apple says, this is meant for diving. If you don't want this to get stuck to your suit, you don't want, well, water to seep through, this is that sort of a rubbery straw design. But honestly, this is a sort of watch which does grow on you. It's 49 mm, much bigger than the Apple Watch Series 8. It's way more comfortable than wearing any other brand's watches, because the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, which was meant to be for the rugged outdoors, is circular. It looks nice, but the thing with it is that the strap has this weird clamp sort of mechanism. It feels like you're wearing a bracelet on your hand, and that's not ideal. And it has a few design changes. If you notice right over here, you see that the crown is housed in this sort of a protruded, protected cutout, and I think that makes it interesting. Then you have buttons here, and then of course, for Apple Watch enthusiasts, there's a new button, this orange button, which if I'm going to press right now, and I'm guessing if you press it long enough, you can customize that action button to get whatever you want. But if we hit the siren right now, you can see wherever you are, this watch will get quite loud. A few hundred meters won't be an issue for this watch to call out for an SOS sign. Of course, it comes with the other SOS features which come with the new iPhones and the Apple Watch as well, but this was particularly useful if you're going hiking. Now, we've been out in the outdoors, we've been jogging all over the place. Of course, we've been in the city, but it's been kind of helpful to have a watch like this which you can rely on for battery life. So final verdict on the Apple Watch Ultra, yes, it's expensive, yes, it's clunky, but it is an absolute conversation starter, fantastic technology, and if you can shell out the big bucks, then this, according to us, is the best wearable at this price point. That's also a little unfair to say because it is really, really expensive, but we think it is meant for who it is, which is for an adventure junkie. This is the best option yet. For the past couple of years, there's been so much talk of Web3 and the Metaverse. But we're really asking the key question. Is it just a fad, a passing trend like so many things that have come and gone in the world of technology and business, or is it truly the future? Well, here's a special report.
Nearly a decade, thousands of techies and billions of dollars spent, all towards one goal, which is to make an immersive virtual world, the Metaverse. With this investment and vision, Mark Zuckerberg is on a quest to make this Metaverse a reality for us all around the world. But the question is that are we truly ready for this Metaverse? So before we put on the VR goggles and create our digital avatars, we must find out that is it truly a game changer or just a gimmick? Well, Snapchat founder Evan Spiegel does not agree with the concept of Metaverse, so does Greg Joswick from Apple. So the tech world is clearly divided on the future of Metaverse or how is it going to shape out. But what do you, the Tech Today community, think about it? And today I shall find out. Do you know what Metaverse is?
No. I have no idea, but basically it is something of the virtual reality stuff. No.
Do you want to know what Metaverse is?
No.
Yes.
What do you think it is?
It's on the virtual side, I mean, from what I know, and it's something which is upcoming where many organizations are trying to get into this space to build a different kind of market space, from what I understand. It's new, but I think it is in the growing stages right now.
I don't know actually what that is.
Would you want to know about Metaverse?
Yeah, I would definitely want to know about it. I have zero idea.
It's a virtual reality universe wherein people can interact, they can share. It's a shared space basically, but you don't need to be physically present over there. People can interact, they can play games, they can do virtual shopping, they can, do a lot of things that they do in real life, except that they will have to either wear a VR goggle or be present there in their 3D avatars, is what I think.
A virtual reality space in which users can interact with a computer-generated environment and other users.
Do you believe that Metaverse will become a reality in the coming years?
I think it's very difficult to predict what it will become, considering the way things are. It might become a shared virtual space for people who can just stay at their place and do whatever they do in general, but without getting out of the house. But for something virtual to become your reality, we really have to wait and see how it pans out.
Do you think it will take over our real lives very soon?
Definitely. So people would love to experience it. Wherein if we are not present in that world and we get an experiencing, we can everyone would love to see that.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to. I would love to see what it brings, what it does.
Some confused yeses, but mostly a big no. After all, Metaverse is an idea to which different tech companies have different interpretations. As for Mark's vision, all is not well in the paradise. The company reported its quarterly earnings and realized that the overall costs have gone up by a fifth due to the Metaverse plans. So will this make Mark Zuckerberg abandon his Metaverse plans? Do you think he should abandon his Metaverse? Well, that is a debate you must participate in and let us know through our social media handle. In the meantime, let's take you to Berlin, where our tech editor Ayush Ailavadi is in conversation with Peter Korte, the CTO and Chief Strategy Officer at Siemens. This conversation revolves around a different sort of Metaverse, one that could truly change the face of the industry.
From a tech perspective, there have been several concepts that have come and gone over the years. Now, this is very promising. The potential of the industrial metaverse and digital twins is interesting. Often what happens in the technology world is it starts one way and then the river flows in another direction. We're happy as long as the use cases really work out for this technology. But what I wanted to ask you was, are you worried in any way, based on how the public and private sector get together for this, that this might fizzle out or take another direction altogether?
So it's a great question again. And as a CTO at Siemens, I see this happening over and over and over again. Just yesterday, I was at a conference for additive manufacturing.
Right.
It went exactly through what you described. Everybody's super ecstatic. This is going to solve the world's resilience, supply chain, and so on. Then super disappointment, right? And then now, finally, however, the technology is building.
Absolutely.
I believe on the metaverse, yes, for sure. We see hype today. But why am I confident? Because we are saying that the digital twins are the building blocks for the metaverse.
That's right.
And the digital twins are already there. We had just have built a digital twin of our own factory that we just newly built.
Right.
And so the digital twins are emerging. So therefore, it's just a matter of time until finally we all gonna move some shape or form into the metaverse.
Oh, you guys are still here. That means I am here and this is not the Metaverse. You're still watching Tech Today and there's so much more to come on the show. All the latest tech trends, what happened this week, and a lot more. All the latest developments on Tech Today here on Business Today TV. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue testing this wearable and then you guys can come back after a short commercial break. See you.
Welcome back to Tech Today. I'm your host, Ayush Ailavadi. So much has been happening in the technology world all week. Literally, tech tectonic movements. I know that was the wordplay that I was going for, but Nabila has been tracking everything, right from the WhatsApp outage earlier this week to what's happening at Apple, Google, and all the launches. Nabila, over to you.
Well, absolutely, Ayush. It's truly been a tectonic week for tech. It all started on Tuesday afternoon when WhatsApp gave quite a big shocker. The instant messaging app went down globally for almost 2 hours. Users, as usual, took to Twitter to express their agony and their concerns. A lot of memes were also made around it. Well, Meta, the parent company of WhatsApp, on the other hand, said that the outage was a result of a technical error. Meanwhile, the IT ministry here in India has asked Meta if the outage was due to an internal glitch or a cyber attack. Speaking of the Ministry of Electronics and IT, it was Minister of State of IT, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who asked Apple the real reason behind shortage of new iPhone 14 Pro models in India. In fact, the iPhone 14 series was the biggest and the most anticipated launch this year, and a crunch so soon after the launch hasn't really gone down well with people. So responding to a Twitter user, Rajiv Chandrasekhar has said that he has spoken with Apple and that the company has said the demand for iPhone 14 Pro has surged while they're going through a supply constraint, but will soon be able to resolve it. Google, the US-based big tech, faced yet another blow this week when the CCI, the Competition Commission of India, charged a fine of a whopping 932 crore rupees, less than a week after it charged the company with a whopping 1,338 crores. Now, the latest fine comes for Google's anti-competitive policies on its Play Store, whereas the previous one was for the company abusing its dominance in multiple markets with its Android mobile operating system. Well, clearly, it was not Google's week, as it also reported a weak set of earnings, missing street expectations in the face of an economic slowdown. Talking about earnings, another one to take it on the chin was Facebook's parent company, Meta. The company saw a rise in its overall costs by a fifth in the third quarter, and that was due to the experimental Metaverse. Well, this was estimated by analysts and investors, and so one of Meta's shareholders, Altimeter Capital, wrote an open letter to Mark Zuckerberg asking to streamline costs and even cut jobs. And lastly, the biggest and the most blockbuster deal of the year, or rather the decade, has finally gone through. Tesla CEO Elon Musk now officially owns Twitter. It took him months, but he's finally made it despite thinking that he has overpaid for it. The deal was closed at $44 billion. In fact, Musk, like usual, took to Twitter to announce his arrival. He changed his bio to Chief Tweet and posted a video where he can be seen walking inside the Twitter building with a sink in his hand. And the video was captioned saying, "Let that sink in." And on Friday morning, he confirmed it all by tweeting that the bird is free. Reports came in that he's also sacked the top executives at Twitter, including the Indian origin CEO Parag Agarwal and legal head Vijaya Gadde. Another report said that Musk himself will become the CEO of Twitter in the interim. He was also seen hanging at the Twitter headquarters bar. So now all eyes on the world's richest man and what he does next with his latest acquisition. As this is a developing story, we're going to bring you the latest and keep you updated. You got to stay tuned to Tech Today.
There's been so much talk of wearables, especially through the pandemic, and now even post-pandemic, people have gotten a lot more conscious and active about their health and fitness needs. We, for one, were reviewing the Apple Watch Ultra, but this is at one end of the spectrum, a luxury premium wearable more expensive than an iPhone 14. What if you want to make health and fitness tracking accessible to all using technology? Can there be one super device? Well, we actually tried one out at the India Mobile Congress. Have a look.
You know, nowadays we use these wearables and you have all sorts of sensors, but they're not always that accurate and they're not always that affordable. What if you needed a solution in rural and urban India to actually get all these metrics like SpO2, your blood pressure, your temperature? Relay that to a system. I'll tell you how it works. But what's fascinating is that this is a startup. Two young founders from Indore. I have them with me. Sanya, what a pleasure to have you. Just Lokan, good to see you as well. Sanya, you're going to explain to me very quickly how this has the potential to change healthcare in India.
Absolutely. So what we have in hands is a patented technology that we've built in India and something that is going to change the landscape across the rural and urban ones. So basically what we're promoting is that in one tab we get your complete health data, we fire it to the servers, do a quick AI/ML calculation and make this device a sustainable medical product for India. I give you this device, I'm taking 5 body vital parameters and generating results, not limited to, but I'm also producing non-invasive diabetes results, non-invasive COPD results, and a lot of disease detection portfolio that I'm going to be expanding. So today, if you get my device, it's relevant to you 10 years down the line as well. Something we're creating.
Fascinating, but we believe the proof is in the pudding, so I'm going to have a seat right here and actually test this device. Let's see how it works, what the metrics are like. And here goes. Well, there you go. It's telling you that I don't have a fever. It's given you a slightly higher pulse because we're excited here at the India Mobile Congress. All of this is gone real time via a 5G network to their server. The algorithm has told you all of this with analysis. This is the sort of solution which can be used all across India, even in the villages, and perhaps transform the healthcare sector using tech. That's your less than 2-minute review of this particular device. Well, the Tech Today team has absolutely enjoyed putting this show together for you in the outdoors. But where are you watching this? Indoors or outdoors? Where do you prefer watching us? In the studio or here in the wild? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, write into us on our social media handles. Your host Ayush Alavadi from the rugged outdoors with his rugged wearables is saying thank you so much for watching. Until next week, adios.